Good morning. You are welcome to today's section. It's Introduction to Business Research. My name is Dr. Temiloluwa Ajibade. You can call me Temi. And for this semester, you have some things to complete on the module. You have the group presentation, which is due on the 14th of March. You have your 2,400 words research proposal, which is due on the 27th of March. And the outcome of this module is that at the end of this module, you should be able to outline specific research aims and objectives when drafting your research project, as well as boundaries of the research project. You also investigate the existing body of knowledge in line with identified research aims and objectives, and also produce a comprehensive literature review and including a theoretical framework. Also, another outcome is that you, at the end of the module, you should be able to appraise the various approaches to the investigative method and data collection method, comparing and contrasting a range of research methods and justifying their usage. And also, at the end of the module, you should be able to propose a small-scale research project into a chosen business, management, marketing, finance, and accounting, international business, or economics topic, and develop a research proposal suitable for the undergraduate level. Now, going forward into the lecture, I would like to ask you that you should think of the last thing you bought. Now, think of it. What did you buy last? And what did you buy? How did you decide on what you bought? This brings us to this concept of research. You would agree with me that before you conclude on buying something, you must have an information about that thing. Now, if that thing is so precious to you, you would go further to inquire about that product. Now, say for instance, you are buying something online, you would want to check the reviews, you want to know the usage of the product, you want to know how well it suits your purpose. Now, when you are doing this, you are conducting a research. And so we'd say research is a systematic investigation. So companies don't just come up with anything. They go and they then purchase these items using some necessary information to reach a conclusion on what they want to do. Managers make decisions based on information. And also in the academics, we don't just give our opinion. We give opinion based on information and a systematic investigation. And so this module will give us tools to how a research topic is structured in a particular manner. Now, talking about research, basically, we have two types of research. We have the primary research and the secondary research. And so when you are talking about the primary research, you are basically focusing on three major points. You want to do this topic yourself. You want to gather your own information. You want to speak directly to people who are affected or interested or about the topic to gather every information you need. When it comes to the secondary research, now you are saying you want to use someone else's information. That is, someone has gone ahead, someone has conducted the primary research, and then now from the information gathered or from the data gathered by that person, that is what you want to use for your own research. And so when we are talking about this, you are talking about government surveys, you're talking about official statistics, and the likes. And so it means that we can say that every secondary research comes from a primary research. That says a data has been gathered by someone, and now we are building on that gathering data to conduct our own investigation. All right. So going forward, we would want to say what type of research are we trying to do? Now, because we have the research for business, we would think about some things that we in the business world we do. But when you look at it, we have the laboratories also conducting research. We have the real world research when it comes to attending to people. You want to know what type of research are you trying to do? It depends on the type of answer you are seeking. Now, you now think about it. What if I come up with a different answer? In research, no answer is right and no answer is wrong. So we are going to look at some basic principles of research in order to inform our later discussion. However, as we go forward, there are some words that would come up, and so you need to pay attentive to it. Now, when we talk about research, basically, we cannot remove science from research because science in itself is often thought of as being a coherent body of thoughts about a particular topic over which there is a broad consensus. And so we have different type of science. We have the physical science, we have the biological science, we have the social science. So now it depends when it science, it depends the research you're conducting now depends on which field you are conducting it. And so we now come to the social research, which has to do with the social science. And in this research, we'll be looking at some school of thoughts. We have the positivism, we have the relativism. The positivism, we say it focuses on objective reality. That is, what is, what you can see, what you can feel. Now, while relativism recognizes the difference and the different perspective that exists to a particular subject matter. So now you're looking at, because remember we say no one is right, no one is wrong in research. And so relativism is saying you are looking at people's view from different perspective. And this is what the school of thought, this is relativism school of thought. All right, going forward, we would talk about a philosophy, which is the ontology and epistemology. I'm sure these words probably sound technical to you. And so I would want you to look it up on the internet yourself and see. But basically, what these words, when we are considering these words, we are looking at how we see the world. We are looking at how we understand the world. Because for us to conduct a research that is reliable, you need to understand the world around us. You need to know how it works. It depends on how your perspective of the world. And so researchers collect data, they analyze it, and now, because they collect data and they analyze it, the analysis and the data they collect depends on how they understand the subject matter, how they see the world. And so it is important that we understand these terminologies. Now, epistemology, it says how we see the world, how we see the world. Now, how we understand the world is ontology. But then, these words are complex, but you still have to understand them. Now, when we now talk of ontology and what is real, remember we are in earlier we spoken about the positivism school of thought and the relativism school of thought. And so when you now pick a positivist researcher from a physical science or from a natural science, then we believe that they believe that there is this truth somewhere that is waiting to be discovered. And that is you are going for it. Now when you say go for it, they just want to discover there's something waiting, and so you want to say how real this truth is. So you want to go ahead and discover this truth. While a relativist researcher would suggest that yes, as human, we are complex and we have diverse opinion to a particular subject matter. And so this is how this two school of thought things, positivists and relativists. All right, so from the epistemology angle, now if I were to ask a lot of yes or no questions about a football fan and about their team, you would see that would have different results. And this is because of how people see the world. How I see the world as a Black man, an African man, is different from how a British or an Indian or a Pakistan or a Romanian sees the world. Because sometimes we would say that the way we perceive some things is based on our orientation, our background, and our culture. And so that is why research is very, very dynamic. Going forward, we see some angles into research. We have the deductive research and we have the inductive research. Now, when you look at the slide before you, you will see that it goes from theory to hypothesis to observation and to confirmation. Now that is positivism. When there is something in theory, now you research that theory because your aim, your final objective is to confirm if that theory is true or not. Meanwhile, from the inductive angle, it is vice versa. You observe a particular thing, and then there is a pattern, and then you test this hypothesis, and then from that hypothesis, you develop a theory from it. All right, so this is the difference between an inductive research and a deductive research. You have the slides on your module. You can always go through them to understand more about this. Now, another philosophy would look at is the pheno phenomenology or interpretivism, so that I won't break my teeth. All right. Now, what does this really mean? I want you to take a minute and think. Yeah, we know we've been dealing with complex words. So what does it really mean? You remember you have the opportunity of researching this. It's a research class, so you can always go online and check the meaning of these words to understand better. Now, there is a phenomenon, and it said here researchers they think that a true objective view of the social world is impossible. Oh no, I'm sorry, from this school of thought. So the presence of a researcher influences the participants. The removal of bias is unnecessary. So here, well, researchers interacting with the subject of inquiry in order to understand their perspectives and their feelings. And so it means that people interpret a particular thing differently. You interpret a result differently because of your perception about that particular subject matter. Now, so going forward, we have from the positivist research examples, we have a research question, we have a method, we have the justification as displayed on the screen. I'm not going to dwell on because we have the slides. You can see the research questions. It says, are customers more responsive to recommendations generated by e-commerce provider or by other consumers? And so what's the method? You can see the method there. Well, conducting online research, two types of online product recommendation in conjunction with two different product types were manipulated between subjects. And the people used for this, recruited for this research, there are about 396 just to reach a job conclusion. And when we talk about the facts, positivism produces facts. Remember, you want to know the end result. That's it. Just like I said, that there is a truth that is waiting to be discovered. All right. So now the interpretism research example says, how do customers use and make decisions based on content provided by members of a consumer review website? Now, what is the perception? This, you are looking at the perception of the participants in this research. Now you are looking at if the method interview, you are looking at group discussion, you are looking at, well, maybe you use questionnaires also. All right, so just to be able to reach a reasonable conclusion. Now, going forward, basic and applied research. The basic research expands knowledge of a process and business, of a process of business and management. Also, a basic research results in universal principle relating to the process and its relationship to the outcome, finding of significance and findings of significance and value to society in general. Now, what is the purpose of applied research? It improves understanding of a particular business or management problem. Now, the aim also is to get solution to a problem. Now, in applied research, new knowledge is limited to the problem and findings of a particular relevance and value. Yeah. All right. So another purpose of applied research is to get findings of particular relevance and value to the managers in an organization. And we have the context. Another difference between basic and applied research is looking at the context. The context of this research, types of research differ. So in the basic research, for instance, it's undertaken by people based in academia, while in the applied research, it's undertaken by people based in varieties of settings, both organization and academia. The choice, well, for basic research, also you look at the choice of topic and objectives. Well, you look at it has a flexible time scale, while when you look at the time in applied research, there is always a time bound. That is, the timing is restricted. The impact, looking at another thing is that, well, the impact of a basic research, it may impact policies and practice. The academic community also contribute to knowledge. And when it comes to applied research, the policies, it impacts the policies, practice also, and may also impact the academia. All right. So now another thing when you now look at it is in research is you want to think of which approach is right for your research. Now, in this way, you remember we're just having an introduction. You are looking at is your research words or numbers? Is it qualitative or quantitative? Are you looking for details or facts? What do you have access to? Also, that is another thing. To the what access do you have or data and everything? So you would also know, given your topic, what makes sense for your topic. So these are the things that will probably guide what approach you are looking and you think is right for you. So what is the philosophy? You look at the philosophy, you look at how it fits into your research topic or question. You look at how it fits into your career. If you are looking at advancing your career based on the research you want to do. All right. Now, what is the aim? Aim of research is to produce a solid research question that can be answered in coherent and clear manner, using a valid source of information to come to a conclusion. That is basically the summary of what we can say the aim of research. You want to produce a solid research question that can be answered in a coherent and clear manner, using a valid source of information that you can use to generate a reasonable conclusion. Now, before we end today's class, we need to look at the attribute of a good research. Attribute of a good research, as seen in your screen, you can see when it presents a clear research question, it presents a clear method, and the source of data is also clear. It meets with the specification and standards of examining institutions. It is a link to the theory, and also it gives us fresh insights to the topics and also career goals. Now, these are the things that you see as a good attribute of research proposal. All right. So this brings us to the end of today's class. You can, for further reason, you can see some of the references displayed. So thank you very much for coming for today's section. See you in the next section. Bye.